Hello and welcome. This is Borno Restoration. I am Jesse Tafida. Today on the program, we will take you through achievements of the state governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, in the education sector. The sector has continued to attract government attention despite years of protracted conflict in the state. This is a deliberate attempt to address the menace of out-of-school children and engrave the culture of education in the psyche of its younger population. But before we track all these stories, let's bring you up to speed with Borno Today. A guard of honor to the army chief. This is his first operational visit to the Theatre Command Operation Hatinkai. On arrival, the army chief went into a closed-door meeting with the top officers. After an hour, the army chief briefs the press on his purpose of visit.
I'm back in the theatre this time around for an operational visit, and I've just been briefed by the theatre commander on the operational, administrative and other issues in formations and units deployed in the theatre. The whole essence of coming around this time is to have an opportunity to go around and physically interact with the troops, hear firsthand from them, so that the army headquarters can take appropriate actions on the challenges confronting the formations and units in the theatre in a bid to bring more stability to the people of Borno State.
He insists that no part of Nigeria will be occupied by any criminal element.
To address the challenges that we have observed developing in the theatre, the challenges of kidnapping of civilians on the highways and the use of IED to attack civilian vehicles and convoy traversing the roads.
The army chief then proceeded to inaugurate a 30-family corporal and below quarters at the Maimalari cantonment to ease accommodation challenge. He gave his word to prioritize welfare of officers and men of the Nigerian army in order to boost their morale in the fight against insecurity. The 13-year Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast was based on the ideology that Western education is forbidden. But the Borno State University believes that adequate knowledge of the importance of education, especially through the local language, will assist people to see beyond this ideology. Present at this hall are academic dons, Islamic scholars, traditional leaders, and students. They are here to attend a sensitization workshop organized by the Borno State University. The topic for discussion is importance of learning through indigenous language.
What we are doing is we are now making them the language they understand to read in the Arabic letters. Since they are very familiar with Arabic letters, we now turn the Kanuri language into Arabic letters, so that by the time they read, they can understand and communicate with one another.
Guests at the workshop are of the view that this development will go a long way in bridging the communication gap between the learned and the locals.
We are trying to recover the lost glory of this beautiful heritage of Islamic education, because it is a brainchild of the Quranic studies.
Ajami revived the Kanuri tradition. Ajami enabled the writers and scholars to write more in the Kanuri language in all fields of the studies. Ajami benefits the Sangaya students to learn how to read and write easier.
Scholars here are charting a way of generating Kanuri Ajami alphabet from Arabic letters. The State University assures that the center has qualified professionals that can effectively handle the task of reviving the Kanuri Ajami history. It is said that the growth of any society depends on the level of education available to its citizens. The education sector in Borno State has been devastated by more than a decade-long insurgency, forcing thousands of children to be out of school. But the Zulum administration came in with a 10-packed development agenda, with revamping the education sector as a key component. From primary to higher and tertiary institutions, it's been massive development of the sector in the Northeast state. Let's take this report. In Borno State, where the Boko Haram insurgents have caused most devastation, the state government continues to swim against the tide by keeping the quest for knowledge alive and implementing education development master plan. The administration of Professor Babagana Zulum adopted a holistic approach to aggressively return out-of-school children to the classrooms through massive rebuilding of schools in the communities ravaged by the Boko Haram insurgency. More primary and secondary schools with modern facilities are now being constructed in several communities. Years after over 200 schoolgirls were abducted by Boko Haram insurgents from Government Secondary School Chibok, the place is now wearing a new look. The school has been remodeled and equipped with books, standard classrooms and desks, computer rooms, laboratory, among other facilities.
The children were abducted 14th of April 2014, and to date, these children are still schooling under a non-favorable environment. And therefore, this administration, under my leadership, swung into action and completed the rehabilitation of this very important secondary school. What we did is beyond the rehabilitation of the secondary school. We have provided furnitures to the entire classes.
Government Day Secondary School Gwange is another mega school built and equipped by Governor Zulum in communities of Gwange in Sabongari, a densely populated area within Maiduguri metropolis. The people of Gwange community will no longer have to travel for miles to access quality secondary education.
Honestly, the governor has a very good foresight. Professor Babagana Umara Zulum. Looking at the community, you find out that this is the only secondary school within this community, and this is Gwange. When I say Gwange, the population of Gwange, honestly, is something else. And if you go around, you've just came in through the main road, you've seen so many, so many children roaming about, so many ajakutas. You find out that the school here, for him to have started this school here, is not an easy thing. The impact that this school is going to have on the community is very huge. Most of the schools, the secondary schools, are far away. They need to get transport. Some of them will have to trek a distance and a very far places. They could not go because some of them don't have even the transport to go. But with the way he started this school here, so many people are rushing to come here.
We can't show our feeling about this school. Why? Because in Gwange, London, Chiki, and custom area, there is no senior secondary school. We are the one who start and push this effort to governor. When we are selected from Gwange community, what support committee to GIZ, choose us as a community members or stakeholders to go and write our aims and objectives. And we write it to the governor, and we thank God all what we write it, it is done with us.
The school in Gonge is a replica of several mega schools built across the state under the visionary leadership of Professor Babagana Zulum in the last 2 years. The governor is not only interested in infrastructure development, but quality learning by intensifying efforts in human capacity and retraining of teachers.
Teacher training is one area that an impetus has been given by the government. Teachers being trained in aspect of pedagogy, psychosocial support training, disaster risk reduction, a number of quality assurance officers also being trained. In addition to management, the school managers training, they are also important in the system, because the system cannot do without effective quality assurance and effective managers.
Governor Zulum's strategic intervention in the education sector is also visible in tertiary institutions across the state. Borno State University is a major beneficiary of Governor Zulum's commitment to improving standards of the institution since its creation in 2016. To enhance research and boost academic activities, the Zulum administration completed the Senate building, 2 hostels with 150 rooms that can accommodate 1,200 students, as well as 34 units of duplex and bungalows for professors, senior and immediate staff.
Believe you me, you cannot go to many states and get this kind of edifices. Up to this moment, the state government is still, considering providing infrastructures to the university, because the objectives, the philosophy of the state government is that the state government wants a world-class university, a university that can bear its name, a university that can stand anywhere in the world and be called a university. That's why you can see that there are a lot of infrastructures like the faculties, like student hostels, that anything that can accommodate the students. If you see some other states, they just turn some other secondary schools into universities, or some other structures to universities, which is not befitting. But here, ab initio, the state government says no, we have to start with something concrete, and that's why the state government built all these things. And in terms of support, the predecessor to this governor and this governor also, they are heavily committed. In fact, the funding now is enough to run the activities of the university every month. We don't have any problem. And this is because the governor is also passionate to see that the university stands on its feet and then rub shoulders with other universities.
These interventions are deliberate attempts by Governor Babagana Zulum to reposition and revamp the education sector. Borno State is no doubt breasting the odds and rising above the ashes from a state ravaged by insurgency to a home of mega schools and education paradise in Nigeria. To bring us up to speed with the plans put in place by the administration of Governor Zulum to further uplift the education sector, I had a chat with the State Commissioner for Education, Lawan Abba Wakilbi. I started by asking him achievements of the Zulum administration in the sector so far. Take a listen.
At the peak of the insurgency, the figures given are as follows. Total number of people displaced, 2 million. According to World Bank RPBA report, total number of school infrastructure destroyed, about 5,000. According to UNICEF, total number of students out of school at that time, 1,229,000. According to our SEMA and NEMA, total number of orphans, 56,000. Total number of widows, 49,000. And the 1.2 million we are talking about are children whose schooling were disrupted. His Excellency Governor Kashim Shettima started the building of mega schools. Then the regime of His Excellency Governor Zulum consolidated on that. In school infrastructure, His Excellency Professor Zulum has built mega schools of 60, 50, and 40 classroom capacity. His Excellency has completely rehabilitated 108 schools. He has built 432 classrooms in 48 schools. He has built conveniences in 242 schools in the first phase, 108 schools in the second phase. That is as far as infrastructure is concerned. He has recruited teachers. He has mainstreamed almost 600,000 students. He has returned back 11 rural schools that were initially in Maiduguri. And he has given books, uniforms, and other school items free. Any student that is enrolling into a Borno State government school in the rural area, government gives him from uniform to bags to books free. We have shared bicycles to rural students to aid rural school mobility. 800 teachers were recruited, science-based teachers, to boost the figure of teachers. 5,439 teachers benefited from the minimum wage after a competency test. 415 will be rolled into that also, and the competency test would continue. Modern teachers' quarters were built in Maiduguri, Banki, and Mafa for teachers, and more are in the pipeline. So if I keep on going, we'll spend the whole time trying to roll out his achievements.
Bring us up to speed on the enrollment of displaced children to school.
UNICEF published a report that we have 1.8 million children out of school, and majority of them are in the rural areas. Since we started, so many rural schools were established. We have opened a new school in Gumsuri in Damboa for the IDPs in that place. His Excellency has built a brand new 30 classroom mega schools, technical school in Balala, which is a Chibok community. We are opening a new school in Askira. We have opened 2 schools in Goza to now help enroll the IDPs in Goza. We have opened a new school in Polka, 2 schools in Ngoshe and Kirawa, which are Goza communities. We have opened a new school in Banki, in Bama. We have opened an additional government day secondary school in Bama. We have opened a new school in Mafa. We have a school in Dikwa. We are trying to expand the school in Gamboru. The school in Gubio has picked up Gajiram. With His Excellency, we enrolled 7,500 orphans in Monguno for mainstreaming. And then the Muhammadu Buhari Academy is holding about 3,000 girls drawn from all the shores of the IDP affected areas. So the combined effort According to BESDA records, we have, through the formal, mainstreamed about 281,014 students back into school. And that is purely the effort of His Excellency Governor Zulum. If you notice, majority of these mega schools, the 24 I have mentioned, are outside Maiduguri. Only 6 are in Maiduguri. And that is to create access to students that are in those communities. That has been our priority. If you look at it, we crisscross local areas. Zabarmari community, where we built a school, and in 2 days, the school had 400 students enrolled. So if that school was not in place, there's no way these 400 students will go to school. So you could see a lot of effort is being done in rebuilding schools. Not only rebuilding schools, we give them everything from books to uniforms to whatever they need.
The question of how secure the schools are would come to mind, and what can you say about that?
You see, we have tranquility has returned to the state. In the past, for you to appreciate what has happened, you have to look at where we are, where we were, and where we are today. We had 15 out of our 27 local governments taken over. Now, all the local governments have come back. There's a school in Mairari, which is a part of Guzamala. So, basically, most of these places are secured. And to God be the glory, we have not had any attack or threat. And the Borno model of mass surrender of Boko Haram insurgents has also helped the situation greatly. So if you look at it, the attacks are getting further and further away. And there's enthusiasm of coming to school, and there's no attack whatsoever on the students. Nevertheless, we are still going by all recommendations of the Safe School Initiative. The Nigerian police and the Nigerian army have also helped in securing the school.
How much is the state taking care of its teachers?
We have 17,400 teachers at LEA level. And His Excellency directed that we should subject them to a competency test. At the end of the competency test, we expect teachers to be graded into 3: qualified, not qualified but trainable, not qualified, untrainable. So we got 5,439 that are qualified. And we gave them a minimum wage, full 30,000 naira minimum wage that is second to none in this country. So I think we are on track in the aspect of teachers' welfare.
That's our package on this week's episode of Borno Restoration. Thank you for being part of it. I am Jessie Tafida. See you next time.